Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page, True Divine 44, and it is the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, particularly comments or follows are greatly appreciated. And much love to everybody who's doing that thus far. You're helping me grow. You're helping me sustain myself. I really do appreciate you and all of the new clients that are coming to me for help too. So I put out as much as I can. This is writing on the wall. This is just where things I feel that are important to share, knowings that I have, whatever you want to call them, psychic knowings, intuitions, research. I love researching. I just put out on these whatever comes to mind to put out. So something came up. So this one is about Utopia. Now I invite all of you guys to do a little bit of detective work with me. One, it's a little bit of fun. Two, I love looking at things like this. It is a program on Amazon Prime TV called Utopia. It is about a comic book that has a white rabbit prevalently in it, an evil white rabbit, and so much symbolism in it that I knew I needed to watch it. I don't watch things particularly very much for just watching them. I can't do that, but I do look for the symbolism. I do look for the sly, sneaky ways of the subtle programming that is going on. So, you know, subtle programming, what does that do? It softens the ground for the next agenda. It softens the mind. It brings acceptance, complacency for the next agenda, whatever that might be, from the powers that be that they want to bring in. That programming will have symbolism in the background, times on a clock in various different scenes, numbers on a door, the Twin Towers. If you look back, there was so much symbolism in comic books, in cartoons, in games, in movies that they were going to be attacked. So it takes the heat off them when it happens, because automatically we have the slightly twisted version in our brain that we've been watching on the screen for some time beforehand. So it's it's a very good way of preparing the ground of the mind of the people, so that they don't face too much of an uprise, too much questioning when things come about. That people who speak out about it early on get called tinfoil hats, conspiracy theorists, because, you know, it's a movie. That's the reaction that you get because your mind is being prepared. So Utopia is a huge one for that. Whether it is somebody being very clever and sneaking out the truth and trying to be the good guy, or whether it is more to my intuition, another MK Ultra style ground preparing, mind preparing thing of people starting to see the ridiculousness of these rules and seeing various movies, various series like this, and putting it all down to conspiracy theory and a movie, and not realizing that they're actually living in the movie and not even getting paid to act in it. So this is something I want to invite you into. So I'm just going to literally go over today the titles, the rolling titles at the start. There is so much symbolism in that. I don't know about copyright. I'm not au fait with that. I haven't really got anybody to tell me. I might ask Wayne more about it. So I'm not going to share the start of it because I don't know how much of that I can do yet. But the symbolism in that rolling title is prevalent. And there is snapshots where if you blink, you will miss it, of a flash, and it just looks like code. Now, when I'm saying I want to invite you to do this with me, I want this to be a bit of a running theme. And I'm going to share the screen now and show you exactly what happens when we are on the rolling title. So there is lots of symbolism in it. in that it starts off with flashes of a petri dish halved with a can of soup or whatever the can might be, and the growing bacteria. There is oil being pumped from the ground, and you see it on the horizon, and exactly the same movement a mosquito, funnily enough. Remind you of anything that the Gates guy does or has done now, feeding off somebody's body. You know, you can see it's on the hair, in the hair, feeding from it. What else? There is fires, a line of fire that will look very similar to the fires that a lot of people in America have been putting up with for quite some time. There is riot police spraying the public. There is, what else is there? There's the ice caps moving. There's the rubbish tips being moved around by big machinery. And this flashes up on the can of where it's a petri dish halved with a can. This flashes up. If you blink, you miss it. And I'm going to write down the code for you now. And then I just want to show you how much symbolism. That's just the title, rolling title. So let's look. I've got it written down here, so don't forget it. So it literally looks like a scientist or whatever has next to this petri dish just written down some codes for some results. So it's U, C, C, U, C, U, A, A, okay? And then it's A, C, G, A, C, U. And then it is U, A, not really, U, C, and then it is U, G, U, G, C, A, C, U, A. Now, as I say, blink and you miss it. It is a millisecond, flashes up. So I knew that I needed to look at it. So I went through all of these codes, and I found that, 1 second, I'll find the next screen to share. So the first code, guys, you type in UCCUCUAA and you get the Seattle Structural Genomics Center for Infectious Disease. Now, this series, I should have said, is all about a virus that has been caused by a crazy, very rich scientist who isn't a doctor. We see the warning at the start of every episode to say that this is all based on fiction, yet however it's worded, it's a bit close to home, so viewer discretion advised. Bit close to home, all right. So this is what comes up with that first code. And again, that is such subtle programming. Please go and watch, even if you don't want to watch anything else and you just want to catch up with it, if you don't want to infect your mind with the rest of it, and you just want to catch up with it on these videos that I'll do, that's fine. But please just watch the rolling titles, because I want to emphasize how subtle and how brazen this mind programming, this mind preparing can be in these programs. So you put in that first code that's written down and flashes up in a millisecond. I couldn't even get a pause screen on it for you. It is so fast. It is ridiculous. I tried for ages and you couldn't get one. So this is the Seattle Structural Genomics Center for Infectious Disease. It brings up that it is about a Congo virus. It brings up that you can order clones and proteins of said virus for free. They'll give you it for free. I think you've got to make some kind of affiliation with them to share results. I don't know. I haven't looked too far into that. So that's what comes up with the first code. Okay, it could be a coincidence. And then you go here. With the first code, there is also this when you search it up, and it just breaks down. It's about viruses basically, and about gene and changing genes. This is about a species of a fruit fly, and the seed is actually here, which is another code I should look up actually. And all of this different coding, I don't know what it means. I wish I did. I've got doctor friends who are struggling to know. You have to have a pretty specific field to be able to understand these things. But you see the code that I typed in coming up here. What else have we got in this? It goes through, it gives you a code and the sequence again here, and you can get the sequence. And all of these people are affiliated with it. So we've got Sci Life Lab. I don't know what this symbol is. I'm not sure about this, or this, but they are all to do with the big science world. We even have NASA on there. NASA comes up quite a lot throughout the symbolism in this series. So then we have, let's see, because I might have to move that along. Okay, so the next one is about the next code, and this is for, it comes up about a mosaic virus RNA. So all of the documents that come up are about RNA, changing genes, changing how to change and clone genes, nucleotides, how to change the sequence of DNA. They all are regarding this. That's no coincidence. And so this is huge programming just in a millisecond flash. We go to the next one, and please look up these codes. You know, I'll put them back on the screen. Please look them up and see. So the UGUG one, there are a few posts. I can't view them. I don't know if it's because I'm in the UK. So any of you guys, my friends in America, then if you're able to view them, please let me know. Please email them, because you know I'm so curious about everything. When it says it won't let me see, I really want to see even more. And so it does bring up, it describes someone also who is not only ugly but dumb as well. So yeah, that's that one. But let me know if UGUG brings up anywhere else, not just my American friends, anywhere in the world. So the next one brings up this one, how to encode polynucleotides. So it's coding, but coding genes, changing them, you know, really, is this really just an accident? So this one talks about the discussion relates to compositions and methods for the preparation, manufacture, and therapeutic use of polynucleotides molecules comprising of mRNA encoding and OX40L polypeptide. Also provided is a method for activating T cells or increasing the number of NK cells in the subject in need thereof. So what are T cells? So they're an important part of our immune system. It says here, you know, we build up the immune system by the number of T cells. They're the lymphocytes. They're the white cell count that help attack any infections or viruses. So you can improve your T cell count responsibly with a healthy eating diet of fresh fruit, produce, and lean protein. But it also says here, there's one of these that goes into it. This is bringing up about just how you increase that. Now, I understand that, But a question right now would be, are they increasing it deliberately? You know, because this test that they're using for this pandemic was never actually made to test for these viruses. It can't differentiate from all the other coronaviruses. It can't pinpoint. Bearing in mind, a coronavirus is literally like a, let's go to here. Okay, so a coronavirus, don't save, or do save. Do you want to look at that again, just quickly? Don't save, I'll put it back up again. So if you think of me up here, so if you think of coronavirus as an umbrella term, so you have your umbrella here, yeah? So this being all of the coronaviruses, it's an umbrella term is coronavirus. And then you would have different strands coming down, you know, being various different things. So from the common cold and the various common colds thereof, so there are many of them, all the way through to maybe, you know, this one, to a flu that can cause a pneumonia, a deadly pneumonia. All of them, and there are many, many more, however many more patented, might I add. You know, you can only patent something you own. So I still say all of these viruses were created, all of them. I don't think we had to deal with this before. I don't, because you can't patent something you don't own. So this is an umbrella term. Now the test that they're doing can only say if your cell count is up enough and you may be fighting any one of these corona viruses. It cannot pinpoint this one. Can't. And so take that into account when you then think of hold on, I'll stop sharing. When you think of the fact that we have the health director here in the UK saying, you know, that on mainstream news even, saying that, you know, yes, there's a 30 to 40% false positive. I put a post up on my Facebook the other day that 77 NFL players were tested. Not long later, they were positive firstly, not long later, they all tested negative. People in America were waiting in long, long lines to get tested. The programming is strong, and they got sick of waiting. And so a lot of them left, only to get calls a couple of days later to say that they were positive and had to isolate. They'd never even been swabbed. I think it was the governor of Ohio. He got tested positive, minutes later, negative. I think it was somebody high up in Tanzania, swabbed goats and fruit to try and prove a point to the world, to say hoax. And, or it isn't what it is being made out to be, so i.e. a hoax. And they all came back positive. Brazil, another high up person, did exactly the same thing. To prove that, you know, even with all of that being said regarding the umbrella term of coronavirus, the testing is any other medical test that was failing that much to give you a definitive result would be deemed as incapable of giving you any result. In any other way, shape or form. It wouldn't be a test that would then be used for that purpose. In fact, the maker of that test said before he died that it could not be used for that purpose. So anyway, back to Utopia. It shows this distortion in that people don't see what is going on right under their nose, how they're being played. So I'm going to keep going through it. This was just a little bit of a brief overlay to say, this is what I'm doing, and I want you to join in if you can. If you can't, it's still going to be super interesting. I tried to do a super cool thing for you on OBS. I'm not there yet. So I'm learning, I'm trying, spending time on it, frustratingly so. But you know, I am trying. So I thought I would just talk you through it because I want people to go and look, because it might be that somebody listening can decipher even more than I can regarding what these codes bring up. But once you see, I've touched on a tiny little bit of what is in just the start, just the reels. And damn, and this is a millisecond of a frame that shows these codes flash up and go away again. And I just knew I needed to look them up. And all of them have something to do with virus. All of them have something to do with altering genes or improving genes, you know. And so I'm going to go further into it, and it'll get more interesting as I go along, because it does get super symbolic as we go along. So I hope you join in. I hope you leave comments, because if you see something that I don't, I sure as heck want to know about it, because you know what I'm like. If you've been listening to me for any time at all, I like to know things. So much love. Stay balanced, stay whole. Mwah.